I actually started my career as a real estate paralegal, and I did that for 15 years. So I was the person that did all the title work, did the closings, all that kind of thing. And it gave me a great deal of experience and taught me a whole lot of things. So sometimes I'll hear agents saying, do people really need title insurance? Yeah, they do. I've seen so many instances where title insurance just happened to look like the knight bearing his sword coming in on the white horse and being the hero of the day. And then I've also seen situations where people didn't get title insurance. Maybe somebody didn't impress upon them how important it was to get that title insurance, and they wound up losing their house. Or maybe they even went bankrupt. So let me give you an example of that. And I've actually got several stories to give you an example of, but I'll try to keep this short. So the first one that comes to mind is there was a little town in Georgia. It's Forsyth County, Georgia. And if you go and Google it, look up 1912 Forsyth County, Georgia, and you're going to see what happened. But basically, all of the African Americans got run out of town. This was back in that day where, unfortunately, we had a stain upon our country during that period. And so they all got run out of the county, and a lot of them didn't get paid for their land. They just got run off. And as a result of that, there really wasn't good title on those properties, right? So fast forward years and years later. Let's go to about late 1980s, 1990 period. And you started seeing a few African Americans wanting to move back to Forsyth County, or maybe realizing that their family had that property and what happened to it, and they wanted to make a claim against that property because it did belong to their family, right? Well, this has been a long period of time, 80, 90 years since that happened. And of course that title or people have bought that property, and maybe there's been a subdivision built on it, maybe that house has transferred hands a couple of times. I mean, all kinds of things, right? So anyway, these people would come back and make their claim against the property, and the current homeowner had nothing to do with that situation that was close to 100 years ago, but these people did have a claim. So how are they going to defend their own claim to those people's claim, right? So anyway, that's a great situation, because if you didn't have title insurance and you had one of those homes, you could be in a great deal of hurt, because maybe they wanted money, maybe they wanted restitution for that, which they were entitled to. Well, if you don't have title insurance, you would have had to have paid that out of pocket. You would have had to sold the house, or maybe turn the house over. And in the meantime, you've got a mortgage to pay. You've got, all these other things going on. So that's a real good instance where title insurance saved the day, or, lack of it caused a real problem. Okay, so let me tell you about another story that I'm familiar with. All right, this gentleman bought a house and lived in it for a while, took out a loan, and then he passed away. Okay, the house was not in such great shape. Next person comes along, buys the house, didn't buy title insurance, and wasn't aware that there was a loan out there. I don't know how, but he wasn't aware that there was a loan out there. Anyway, he proceeds to fix up the house, makes it all nice, and of course he's got a mortgage on it because he bought the house at fair market value at the time that he bought it, right? And then of course he added on to that because he made all these repairs to the house, and that all cost money, and he didn't have owner's title insurance. He had lender's title insurance because of course the lenders require it, but he didn't have owner's title insurance. And owner's title insurance is what protects the owner, okay? Well, he had made all these repairs, made the house all nice, and about a year later, guess what? He gets notified that he owes for that other person's mortgage who passed away, right? Because that note is still open. Even though that person passed away, it carries with the property. That note was not paid off, and this current buyer did not have title insurance. So all of a sudden, he's in a world of hurt because he didn't have title insurance to go back and fight that claim for him. So let me just tell you, when you as an agent are giving people advice on whether or not they need owner's title insurance, you better cover your tail and make sure that you tell them it's always a good idea. It's always recommended that they get title insurance. Because guess what? If something like that happens and you told them that they didn't need it, you could be held responsible for it. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be going on paying a couple $100,000 on somebody's note when I wasn't responsible for it. So be careful out there with what you tell people.